My dear friends, I want you to pause right now. Do not wait for tomorrow or until you complete the next item on your busy schedule. I want you to ask yourself one direct question, and I want you to respond with the complete honesty that only the inner quiet can pull out of you. Are you completely exhausted? I do not mean simple tiredness from a busy afternoon, because that is normal and even healthy. I mean a soul-level burnout, the heavy physical and mental fatigue that comes from fighting battles that were never meant for you. You have been grinding against closed doors, draining your precious life force, trying to force a reality that would gladly give you everything if you only learned how to accept it. You have been endlessly planning and overthinking, wearing yourself down into a shadow of your true self, driven by the belief that if you just try one more tactic or make one more call, life will finally bend to your desires. Yet you still feel like you are swimming against a powerful current. Today I am going to explain why this happens, and more importantly, show you the clear way out. Stick around, because this simple mindset shift changes everything. This is not another complicated system to add to your heavy load, but a completely new way of being. It is so natural and aligned with how your mind works that when it clicks, you will not just feel victorious, you will feel an overwhelming sense of relief. It is the exact feeling of finally putting down a crushing weight you were never required to carry. Consider what usually happens when a new vision appears inside you. A desire rises up, bright and full of potential, whether it is a deep relationship, better health, financial independence, or a creative project waiting to be built. That goal is a clear signal of your direction, and it would not even enter your mind if you were not capable of reaching it. That is the fundamental truth you must remember. But what do you typically do the second that target appears? You grab a notepad and start building aggressive strategies. You calculate the odds, analyze the field, figure out who can introduce you to whom, and try to map out every single step. You construct an elaborate mental plan to force the outer world to line up with your logic. Then you start pushing hard. You push through rejection, fight through exhaustion, and quiet your doubts with pure willpower. You knock on every door, and when one stays shut, you bang on it even louder. You work longer hours, sacrifice your sleep, and double down on the exact same actions, assuming the only issue is a lack of sweat. You believe that if you just do more, the world will eventually yield to your pressure. But what actually happens? Either nothing changes and you break down in frustration, blaming yourself rather than the flawed strategy, or you achieve a hollow win that feels tense and empty because it was forced through constant anxiety. This friction happens because you are mixing up your responsibilities. You have appointed yourself as both the visionary and the contractor, trying to conceive the dream while manually building every microscopic detail. The deeper intelligence within you watches this exhausting struggle and simply waits for you to realize a simple truth. It is not your job to build the bridge. Your hard work does not create your results. Your internal assumptions create them. Read that concept again in your mind. It is not your strategy, your endless grinding, or your sheer force of will that shapes your life, but your core assumption. The inner state you live in and the underlying feeling you accept as true are what form your daily reality. When you step into the real feeling of already having what you want, not desperately hoping for it or chasing it, but feeling like the person who already lives that reality, everything begins to shift. Unseen factors start aligning. Useful contacts cross your path, and fresh opportunities appear out of nowhere. The actions you take from that mental state feel light and natural. It feels less like heavy lifting and more like following a clear path, less like fighting the river and more like riding the wave. Stay tuned, because understanding how this energy shifts will alter how you approach every single goal from now on. This deep intelligence within you is not some distant judge deciding whether you deserve success based on your sacrifices. It is not something you need to bribe with perfect phrases, complicated routines, or constant forced positivity. It is your ultimate underlying awareness, the core identity that exists beneath your name, your daily worries, and your endless planning. It is the vast creative potential that knows solutions your logical mind cannot see and can organize events with precise timing that looks like a miracle to an outside observer. However, this inner guide has one major rule. It cannot direct your path while you insist on steering every inch yourself. Picture being lost in a dense, unfamiliar forest and hiring the most skilled guide alive. This guide knows every clear trail, every shortcut, every hidden danger, and the fastest way out. But instead of letting him lead, you sprint ahead, take random turns, argue about the direction, and exhaust yourself climbing giant hills he could have guided you around. You waste days walking in circles simply because you refuse to quiet the voice saying you must be in total control. This is exactly how you handle your inner potential. You ask for direction, but then you ignore it. You claim to trust your vision, but you act as if everything rests on your frantic hustle, worrying it will fail unless you micromanage every detail. Now let us tackle a major question you probably have right now. Does this mean you should just sit back and do nothing? Absolutely not. Action is an essential part of life, and I am not telling you to sit motionless in a chair, expecting the world to bend around your passivity. Action has a vital place in bringing any dream into reality, but there is a massive difference between forced effort and inspired action. Forced effort comes from a state of lack. It is driven by the internal feeling that you do not have what you need and must desperately chase it down. Every forced task is heavy with anxiety. Every desperate email, every frantic application, and every tense conversation broadcasts the exact message that you are lacking. Instead of pulling you closer to your goal, these frantic steps reinforce the feeling of being stuck. On the other side, inspired action is entirely different. When you truly step into the mindset of your goal already being accomplished, a remarkable change takes place. You become naturally guided. Sharp ideas come to you easily, feeling less like stress and more like pure clarity. You feel sudden pulls to reach out to specific people, visit new places, or act on a quiet hunch that appears out of nowhere. These moments are not random accidents. They are clear indicators showing you the easiest way forward. When you act from this grounded space rather than from panic, the entire quality of your work shifts. The heavy weight disappears, and a strong sense of flow takes over. You are no longer forcing the current. You are traveling with it at a much faster pace than your brute force could ever achieve. Think about a woman who spent over a year trying to move out of a city she hated. She felt trapped and worked tirelessly to force a way out, sending countless applications and trying to network with total desperation. She was completely burned out and assumed her dream was impossible. When asked what state of mind she was acting from, she realized she was operating entirely as someone who was stuck and desperate. Because her underlying focus was on being trapped, her environment kept reflecting that exact stuck reality back to her. Once she stopped the frantic, desperate forcing and focused on feeling how it actually felt to live in her new chosen city, her internal state changed completely. She relaxed into the quiet assumption that her goal was a done deal. Within 2 weeks, an old contact reached out completely out of nowhere with a job offer in that exact new city. The entire transition unfolded naturally, without friction, simply because she stopped blocking the process with frantic anxiety. When your inner guide is directing you, life carries a distinct sense of ease. This does not mean a total lack of movement or healthy challenges, but it eliminates that specific grinding friction that comes from forcing outcomes. Opportunities surface naturally, conversations flow without heavy convincing, and timing works out with a precision that your analytical mind could never manually organize. Conversely, when you are forcing things, everything feels like a constant struggle. Every door seems jammed, every person requires intense persuasion, and you feel like you are pushing an enormous rock up an increasingly steep mountain. When you move with authentic direction, you feel a steady wave of energy. The effort you put in energizes you rather than leaving you hollow. You feel pulled forward by genuine curiosity and momentum. When you are operating from forced hustle, you experience constant exhaustion, constantly fighting off fatigue just to finish the day. Most importantly, when you align with your true path, there is an underlying sense of calm. Even before everything is fully visible in the outer world, you possess a quiet confidence that you are on the right track. That peace does not depend on immediate physical proof. It originates entirely from within your own settled mind. Understanding this process is not about following a complicated list of steps, but adopting one clear mindset. First, you must step into the end result mentally. This is the ultimate foundation. Do not let your doubtful mind distract you by asking how it will happen, because managing the specific details is not your job. Your only job is to fully inhabit the feeling of already being where you want to be right now in your mind, which is where every real transformation begins. Give that inner visual real depth and texture until it feels less like a distant fantasy and more like a solid reality. Second, completely release your obsession with the exact methods. This is where most people get stuck. Trying to control every tiny detail after deciding on your goal is not dedication, it is active interference. Remind yourself that you know your destination, you have set your internal direction, and you are letting go of the need to dictate every single step. Third, stay open to natural nudges. Once you let go of the pressure, pay quiet attention to your instincts. You do not need a dramatic sign, just a clear, quiet pull toward a specific action, an interesting thought, or a fresh idea. Fourth, move toward what feels smooth and open. When an idea strikes, check how it feels inside. Does it feel light, energizing, and clear, or does it feel like the same old desperate strain? If it brings energy and clarity, follow it with the calm confidence of someone who knows they are simply stepping into their rightful place. Fifth, practice patience during the quiet phases. After taking inspired action, things might not move on the exact timeline your impatient ego demanded. You may experience quiet periods where nothing seems to happen on the surface. Trust those moments completely. Every temporary pause or unexpected detour is simply recalibrating your path toward the best possible result. The deep intelligence of life organizes details across a landscape far larger than your immediate view. So trust the overall picture rather than worrying over a single detail. Finally, remain settled in your new mindset. This internal shift is not a quick trick you try for 5 minutes and drop. It is a steady way of living. Throughout any waiting period, you must stay grounded as the person who already embodies the result, rather than someone constantly begging for proof. People often ask how it is possible to let go of control while remaining completely confident in the outcome. This sounds like a contradiction on the surface, but it is actually very simple once you separate two different concepts. Surrendering control simply means releasing your tight grip on the exact method, the timing, and the specific sequence of events. It means acknowledging that your conscious mind cannot possibly track or organize the thousands of subtle variables needed to bring a big vision together. You drop the need to micromanage those pieces. At the same time, maintaining confidence means keeping an absolute, unwavering clarity that your internal state dictates your direction, and that your goal is secure, even if you do not know the exact path it will take to get here. Think of a farmer who plants a strong seed in rich soil. He does not dig up the dirt every morning to check if roots are growing, nor does he try to manually pull the stem out of the ground. He leaves the growth to nature, fully trusting the process. Yet he does not sit around doubting whether the crop will grow. He knows the harvest will come when the time is right. There will inevitably be times when you have set your mind, let go of the strain, and taking clear steps, yet you are met with total silence from the world around you. Days or weeks may pass with zero visible signs, and your mind will try to convince you that your vision was just a foolish dream. I want you to understand what is truly happening during those silent stretches. Deep shifts are always taking place behind the scenes. From the second you lock in a clear internal state, reality begins organizing the necessary connections, aligning circumstances, and positioning opportunities from places you cannot currently see. None of this internal work is obvious in the early stages, much like a seed growing beneath the surface before it breaks through the soil. Consider how nature works during development. For a long time, nothing appears to change on the outside, yet an intricate creation is actively forming. Your sole responsibility during this quiet interval is to avoid interfering. Do not try to force artificial progress out of impatience. Stay true to your vision. Keep occupying that grounded internal state and resist falling back into stress or doubt. When the breakthrough finally arrives, it often happens with surprising speed and efficiency. The ideal opportunity surfaces from an unexpected angle. The right connection happens naturally, or the necessary resources appear through a path you never could have mapped out. When it manifests this way, it carries an undeniable sense of fit and timing that forced winds never have. You step into it with a calm sense of recognition, knowing it was the natural outcome all along. By mastering this mindset, you liberate yourself from the exhausting need to force every detail of your life. You are not abandoning your ambitions or becoming passive. You are dropping the useless burden of constant anxiety. You set your goal clearly, feel its reality deeply, and then relax in the knowledge that the powerful forces driving the universe are more than capable of handling your path. Your actions continue, but they carry an entirely different quality. They stem from inspiration rather than desperation, making a single clear step far more effective than 100 frantic attempts driven by fear. People around you will begin to notice a real change in your presence long before you even mention it. They will see a calm confidence, a steady inner strength, and an easy relationship with time that sets you apart from the constant hustle around you. They will observe that great results seem to reach you with far less friction, not because of random luck, but because you stopped fighting the natural flow and learned how to move with it. Your daily life will begin to feature remarkable timing and coincidences that feel almost crafted. The right tools, insights, and people will show up precisely when you are ready for them. Beneath all the daily activity, you will maintain a deep, steady peace that keeps you anchored no matter what happens on the surface. Tonight, you have a clear choice before you. You can keep grinding, plotting, and straining under a massive weight you were never meant to carry alone, or you can choose a smarter path. You can step into the quiet feeling of your goal being accomplished right now, release the demand to know every step, and let the broader intelligence of life handle the alignment while you move forward with confidence. Imagine waking up tomorrow not as someone who is constantly chasing after their life, but as someone who is simply letting it unfold with absolute poise and absolute certainty. The constant mental chatter that tells you to hurry up, to fix everything right now, and to force every single outcome begins to fade away into complete quietness. You begin to walk into every room, every conversation, and every challenge with a grounded presence that cannot be shaken by brief delays or minor setbacks. When you stop treating your goals like distant targets that you have to aggressively conquer, you instantly align yourself with the natural momentum of reality. Everything you have been trying so desperately to build through sheer strain, starts coming together with a level of harmony that hard work alone could never buy. You realize that true power has never been about gripping the wheel until your knuckles turn white. It has always been about setting your direction clearly and having the ultimate composure to let the journey bring you there. Consider how much energy you have wasted over the years, worrying about the exact timing of your success. You set deadlines based on arbitrary expectations, and when reality does not meet your frantic schedule, you panic and double down on the very habits that drain you. But when you truly embrace this higher way of living, your relationship with time undergoes a total transformation. You no longer view time as an enemy running out, but as a supportive framework, allowing your vision to mature safely into physical reality. You understand that a delay is not a denial, nor is it a sign that your inner focus has failed. It is simply the necessary space required for every moving piece to align properly, so that when your desire arrives, it lasts. This subtle shift in perspective removes the underlying panic from your daily routine, replacing constant worry with a steady, unshakable patience that keeps you focused, sharp, and entirely at peace. Notice how your interactions with other people begin to shift when you operate from this peaceful internal state. When you are no longer approaching relationships or business deals with a hidden sense of neediness, people immediately feel the difference in your energy. Desperation always pushes opportunity away because it broadcasts a deep lack of trust, whereas quiet confidence naturally draws the right people and the best circumstances toward you. You stop trying to manipulate conversations, force agreements, or convince others of your worth because you no longer need external validation to confirm your success. You speak with clarity, you listen with genuine presence, and you make decisions from a position of strength rather than fear. This magnetically attracts high-value opportunities, genuine partnerships, and effortless support from places you never expected, simply because you are no longer projecting the chaotic friction of someone who is desperately trying to prove themselves. As you continue walking this path, you will find that even your daily workload feels lighter and far more meaningful. You still take decisive steps, work hard, and build great things, but the heavy emotional tax of anxiety is completely gone from your efforts. You work with crisp focus and high efficiency because your mind is not split between doing the actual task and worrying about whether it will succeed. Every action becomes a fluid expression of your goal rather than a frantic gamble for security. You end your days with fresh energy left over for yourself and your loved ones, rather than collapsing into bed feeling entirely hollowed out by stress. You are living as the true author of your experience, moving through the world with grace, trusting the underlying intelligence of life, and watching as your reality consistently transforms to match the quiet, unwavering certainty of your inner vision.